volleyball is in orange, Purdue in white. 12,000 fans on hand, and we are ready to go. Purdue opens up in some man-to-man defense, and they get the takeaway. This is Katie Douglas.
Purdue said coming into this game, this crowd is going to be their 6th man. Tennessee is used to playing in front of big crowds.
And pretty much every game that Tennessee does play is 10, 12, 15,000, and they've been in every big game imaginable in women's basketball.
The biggest thing this year for Tennessee, too, and going against the opponents, the toughest schedule in the nation right now on who they're playing, they've got nothing to lose when they go against Tennessee, so teams are going to play their best.
Figgs sights up the three, and Michelle Duhart has the rebound. Second chance for the Boilermakers. And it's pretty much essential, isn't it, to have good guard play to try and hang with Tennessee.
And where both teams have great guard play, White McCarty and Figgs, as we mentioned, might be one of the best.
Catchings misses the pull-up jumper and then is whistled for her first personal.
What I'm interested to see is the emotional level, the adrenaline that Purdue comes into the game with. How long will that last, and then they'll settle in to their level of basketball?
One thing that would have helped them is if they had knocked those outside shots down. Sometimes when you can right away get into the offense and get a quick basket, especially from an outside shot, it gets everybody going.
Tremendous matchup right there with White McCarty going up against Kelly Jolly, arguably the two best playmakers in the country.
McCarty's so good. White McCarty's so good at leaning in and drawing contact.
Nice. Duhart gets away from Teresa Jeter, and Purdue's on top.
Michelle Duhart, a defensive specialist, has got to score points in this game for Purdue.
White McCarty displaying her ball handling skills. Douglas feeding Figgs. Good ball movement for Purdue.
Pat Summitt said coming into this season that she was really concerned that they had to improve on their half-court defense. And also concern was complacency as far as going 39-0 last year and the expectations of everybody on this team. This team cannot get complacent and rest on their laurels.
Randall, 15-footer is good for Samika.
But that's the shot that Samika Randall spent all summer working on with Al Brown, the assistant coach at Tennessee, working on her mid-range jumper and her deep jumper.
And the biggest thing Pat Summitt talked about Randall is her shot selection. She averaged 16 points last year, but it was her shot selections in the offense when she was taking them.
White McCarty spins away. Good help from Catchings. Forces up the shot, and here comes Shamika Holtzclaw. Looking for Tamika Catchings, running the break.
And Carolyn Peck told us yesterday, we need defense, especially in the transition. We've got to slow Tennessee down. You've got to be able to get back, and that was a perfect example of how Tennessee runs.
Well, it creates so many problems, and when you have basically 4 guards on the floor for Tennessee, and any one of them can start the break.
That was a nice backdoor bounce pass by Purdue.
White McCarty with her first basket, 6'4", Boilermakers.
The Purdue players were real excited to play Tennessee, not only because they're the #1 team, but to show that, hey, we need to see where we are in this country, hopefully to make it to the Final Four.
Jeter, excellent position in the paint, gets 2 more.
And more importantly, she looks just as good without the goggles. Nice hair.
Teresa Jeter stepping into that center spot. LaShonda Stevens, who was the starter last year, had to quit this year because of bad knees.
Corey Figgs struggling from the outside.
Holtzclaw, so tough in transition. Basket and the foul on Figgs. Shamika Holtzclaw's first bucket. She is 118 points away from becoming Tennessee's all-time leading scorer, which would surpass Bridget Gordon.
And let's give Bridget her due, the great Bridget Gordon, who will be doing some TV for the Lady Vols this year.
Figgs being chased by Jeter, and Yukari Figgs will head to the free throw line. Figgs gets both as Camille Cooper checks into the Purdue lineup.
And if you're an opponent playing Purdue, and as you said about the shooting and where it comes from in the backcourt for Purdue, you try and stop the backcourt and get the points from somewhere else.
Terrific flash by Shamika Holtzclaw, gets the turnaround, and she's got 5 early on.
Tennessee gets so many points and opportunities for Holtzclaw out of their triangle offense. It's an offense where you read the defense, and it's very hard for the defense to guard.
Tennessee played Portland the other night, beat them 94-57.
Terrific lob from White McCarty to Camille Cooper.
And Pat Summitt was not pleased with the way they played in the first 20 minutes. Purdue is staying right in there.
Catchings, open for the three, no good. Well, one of the things she's been really disappointed about has been their defense, which is a bit of a surprise for them.
Well, they're such an up and down transition team, and Tennessee prides themselves on half-court pressure defense, and it hasn't come together the way she'd like, but it's good for Carolyn Peck.
First basket for Katie Douglas. 5 different players have scored for Purdue.
I love it. Both coaches strutting the sidelines.
Three-pointer off the mark by Jolly. Douglas looking for White McCarty. She's got Figs with her. She'll pull up instead. Yukari Figs and Stephanie White McCarty have been playing together since their high school days, and they've developed a special bond between them.
Well, I think it gets everyone else pumped up. I mean, you see Kari hitting 3 and then, you know, getting really excited, and then everyone else gets excited. The fans get excited, and that energy carries over and gives us a boost.
You go out there and you want to play harder for that person, and you know, I know that, you know, whenever I'm having a tough time or whatever, that Steph's going to be there for me to help me out, and it just gives you some extra incentive to just go out there and do your best.
And right now they have Purdue out on top by 3, and really amazing. Those two have stayed together and stayed here at Purdue through some big adversity.
Well, that just says a lot about them. They're going to be just fine in life if they were able to stick with what they believed in here at Purdue.
Holtzclaw called for the walk. 3rd turnover for Tennessee, and our first look at one of the rookies, Michelle Snow.
5 minutes gone in the game. Purdue has 0 turnovers, so they're getting extra opportunities.
White McCarty using Clement, who has just checked into the game against her defensively.
A lot of those turnovers were created in the full court press, which they have not been able to run because they haven't scored any baskets to set up in it.
And if Purdue was feeling any pressure coming into this game, they certainly haven't shown it thus far.
I shouldn't say they haven't scored any baskets, but
Holtzclaw with the miss. Put back by Samika Randall, and she is fouled. We're experimenting with some new rules. Instead of full timeouts, each team has 5 mini timeouts that they can use over the course of the game. 4 of those will carry over into the second half. The free throw, that lowest space, is a little bit bigger, so it's extended out further on free throws, and only 5 players can be on the free throw line, or on the line for the free throws.
I like mini timeouts. It goes with society, you know, like this and like that.
the reason they've done that block, such as it is, as they have in the men's game, is that they feel that inside position has been getting pushed out of the way by the offensive player, so it gives them a little bit more advantage to get the rebound.
Yeah, well, the angle has been bad, and the second player in the box has an advantage, as you're saying.
Purdue able to handle the press, which isn't something you say often with this Tennessee pressure.
The hard part with a lot of teams, you end up preparing for Tennessee instead of preparing for yourselves. And Carolyn Peck coming in said, look, we've got to play our game and do the things that we need to do as far as breaking the pass, and that's what they just did there.
What a start for Kelly Camara. She comes on and nails the three. Randall responds with a deuce.
Well, Kelly Camara, Miss Basketball in Indiana, they call her Z28, as in Camara.
Well, she is going to be a real energizer for this Purdue crowd over the next 4 years.
You talk about the tradition that Tennessee has. You've got a lot of it here at Purdue.
Nice feed. Camara to Cooper.
This Purdue program was in the Final Four in '94.
Michelle Snow, no good. Randall swoops in for the rebound. Drops the ball on White McCarty. Clement left alone, gets the three.
That's where you need to know personnel if you're the defense. You know that Kristen Clement is a great scorer. She owns every record in the state of Pennsylvania.
Douglas working on Butts. The lefty misses off glass. Randall will slow things down a bit. We also should let you know that both coaches have agreed to wear microphones for today's telecast, so we'll be getting some insight into what goes on the sideline for Pat Summitt and Carolyn Peck throughout the course of the game. Randall with the miss. Douglas with the rebound. Snow called for the foul. Purdue has looked very solid from the start against this Tennessee pressure. Douglas, the backdoor cut, cannot connect with Duhart.
The defense of Purdue has been absolutely tremendous. They are following the scouting report. Tennessee has not scored in transition.
Holtzclaw, cold off the bench and hits the shot.
Carolyn Peck told us yesterday that Duhart would be guarding Holtzclaw. They'll switch it up a little bit, but try and force her to beat him from the outside because they know how devastating she is on the inside. In their first exhibition game, out of those 100 points, they had 70 points in the paint.
Working inside, Cooper won't drop. Foul called against Tennessee.
They lost 4 key players from that last year's team as far as LaShonda Stevens, nice rebound, but also Lori Milligan, Brene Laxton, Misty Green, who knew how to sit the bench. They knew the system.
White McCarty will slow things down a bit, and Camara fouled on the reaching by Clement. 11:28 to go, and let's check into the Tennessee huddle and Pat Summitt.
Listen. You have got to pick your intensity up offensively and defensively. Everybody understand that?
That was just a moment ago in the Tennessee huddle, and what you guys have talked about, picking up that intensity, first on the list.
With a great timeout coming out for Tennessee, they switch their defense. They go into a little bit of a trapping, and they get the turnover they needed.
Which is what they needed for the intensity.
Holtzclaw will shoot over the top of Duhart. Air ball from Shamiqua, and she will hear it from the crowd. Looking underneath, Camille Cooper, easy layup.
Last year, this Tennessee team in the full court press was smothering. They have not had the chance to do that. Purdue's doing a great job. And last year, they played Illinois. They were down by 22 points because of rebounding, making the shots, and not turning the ball over. And that's exactly what Purdue's doing in this game right now.
And the other thing that Purdue's done, which is very good against the Tennessee press, is they're going away from Randall's side. They're content to have Clement and Holtzclaw trapped because they think they're the weaker of the 2 defensive players.
What a luxury, too. You've got 4 different players that can play the point for this Purdue team. Douglas was just up there, and now a takeaway by Clement. So Tennessee's defense becoming a little bit more harassing.
Well, it comes back to what Pat Summitt has been saying since preseason started. We have to be better in execution in the half court on offense and the half court on defense.
Randall off the dribble to Jeter, and the foul will be called on Camille. Mackenzie Curtis back on for Purdue.
Well, how about the one coach here who knows quite a bit about this school is Al Brown. He went here, he coached here, and now he comes back with Tennessee, the assistant coach for Tennessee.
Tamika Catchings now has 4. An opportunity for the Lady Vols to put the full court pressure back on. Good skip, White McCarty. And now Camara will set up.
Good patience and good spacing.
Douglas on the drive and draws the foul.
You can see Al Brown behind Dave Stewart, the official. The Silver Fox right there. A lot of people find a correlation between the 3 national championships and the 3 years that Al Brown has been a part of a very fine coaching staff with Holly Warlick and Mickey DeMoss.
That group has such longevity. They've been together for so long now. They've got the program down to an art form. Kelly Jolly finding Holtzclaw, and Shamiqua finishes.
Tennessee getting good dribble penetration on that series.
Purdue by 3. Boilermakers continuing, though, to keep this at their pace, at their tempo. Douglas blows by the defense, doesn't finish, but Duhart puts it back.
And even though Katie Douglas doesn't make the basket, it breaks down the Tennessee defense in its rotation, and Duhart wasn't boxed out.
Duhart wasn't even heavily recruited. Mel Fortner, who was here before, was recruiting Diamond Desmond.
Strong move with a basket by Shamiqua, and she will try and complete the 3-point play.
You have got to come ready to play like a Jordan every minute you're on the court. And Pat, was probably just saying, hey, this is a wake-up call. These people are coming at you, and you need to go at them.
Shemiko now at 12 in the first half.
So they're breaking the press on Holtzclaw and Jolly's side and staying away from the defensive specialists, Randall and Nia Bucks.
White McCarty on the drive. Good body control. Around and out. Catchings has it. Here comes Tennessee. Catchings has help from Randall. Randall stripped by Camara. Douglas doesn't have the numbers, but Katie will go over Jolly anyway. As it was called for the charge.
There was no contact whatsoever. The official was out of position.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
As White McCarty hits on the first. She now has 9. High praise from Coach Carolyn Peck, who likes to refer to her as a Magic Johnson type of point guard.
Stephanie White and Shemiko Holtzclaw came into women's basketball together. They were 2 of the most heralded high school players. And look at what White McCarty has done, and of course what Holtzclaw has done. They have definitely lived up to their billing.
And as you mentioned, Beth, Stephanie White McCarty had a chance to leave Purdue, which several players did. This is the 3rd coach that she has played for. She played for Lynn Dunn when she came here as a freshman, then played for Nell Fortner 2 years ago, and Nell left for the Olympic team, and now Carolyn Peck. And so she has decided to stay along with Figs. And that's tough playing for 3 coaches. I mean, you learn a lot of new things, new systems, different things to do. I played for 3 different coaches at UCLA, but it can be very difficult to pick up on those systems.
Scramble for the loose ball, and it will go to the Lady Vols. Good hustle on both sides.
Can you imagine when this thing's starting to come down to February or March, if they're giving this type of effort and hustle?
This has the feel of a postseason game, doesn't it, with the atmosphere and the level of play for this early in the season.
Well, this could very well be a matchup that we would see in San Jose and possibly with UConn. The way Gina Oriama's team played this weekend was unbelievable.
Rebound snagged by Camara.
It's the little things.
Pat Summitt has been called for a technical foul.
This is the 25th year for Pat Summitt. She's asking for the officials just to be consistent.
And really, that's all as a coach or as players you can ask for from the officials.
No, there's no question about that. But we also know as players and as coaches and watching the game for years that it's a human element and they call what they see.
And you have a great crew out here in Dave Stewart and Sally Bell and Dennis DeMeo.
12 points now for White McCarty, and the lead is 7, the biggest of the game for Purdue.
So many people this year have talked about maybe the streak, them breaking the 54 wins by Louisiana Tech, maybe 88 games by UCLA, but this is a team that is also capable of getting beat.
And those are consecutive wins. Tennessee has 46 straight right now. Douglas has nice cut as well by White McCarty, and she'll shoot a couple more.
Watch this right here. See, she goes up, she gets 2 up, then Snow thinks, well, okay, maybe I got by with the first one, but that's a very rare occurrence, a missed foul shot.
But players love to block shots. You say the cardinal sin is leaving your feet before the shot is taken. But if you've got such a player like White McCarty, and if you had more kids like that throughout the country, you get to the free throw line a lot more.
Calling out the defense is Carolyn Peck. Holtzclaw hits the jumper.
She's done that so many times in her illustrious career. How do you stop a team that has momentum? You score.
Holtzclaw has 14 here in the first half. Camara continues her hot start.
You gotta love that one-on-one, the freshman against the sophomore, just taking it to Randall, who's a defensive glove.
Randall working baseline, and it's called for the walk. Purdue right now winning the shooting percentage battle, winning the rebounding battle. As Camara couldn't track that backdoor pass down.
You have to know, too, this Tennessee team has been down like they were last year. I mean, they are the champions. They're the Warriors. They know how to come back.
Holtzclaw misses the free throw. Shalon Pillow with the rebound, and she draws the foul.
When you get to the foul line over 1,100 times and you're making 70% of them, it's going to help the cause.
In their exhibition game, though, where they scored 100 points, they were 22 of 35 from the free throw line. They got to the line, but they did not shoot well.
Pillow misses both, so Purdue holds on to the 8-point lead. Under 3.5 to go here in the first half. The Boilermakers have been able to control the tempo against Tennessee. Duhart, baseline, looking for help, finds Cooper.
The 2-3 trapping zone by Tennessee, I know Pat Summitt's putting it out there as a change of pace, but it really hasn't bothered Purdue. They found the inside player.
Holtzclaw responds. Shamiqua is 16.
She came out of nowhere. This long arm went up and grabbed that basketball.
She's one of the quickest jumpers I have ever seen. She just elevates above the pack.
Purdue now looking at that 2-3 zone. Douglas finds a seam.
That's the player Duhart in the corner. You want to shoot the ball, not that player.
Shot clock winding down.
3 seconds. What a tough ball. I thought Purdue did a good job on their offense, being very patient. Yes, Tennessee was playing good defense, but here we see on the other side, and look at Shamiqua. She even gets down, bends her knees, sneaks around, and Kelly Jolly knows exactly where she is. They have played together for 4 years here at Tennessee. They are best friends off the court, and they know each other with that eye contact.
Randall, what a spin move. Can't finish. Rebound Purdue. Now Douglas pushes.
The Holtzclaw is going to need a little help coming in the second half. Kelly Jolly's got to look to score a little bit more. Randall has to be more involved in the offense, and obviously Catchings has to come back and contribute.
Cooper continues to hurt them in the paint.
I think what really helps Purdue in this offense, you got Douglas up top. They've got different people at the point position with McCarty and Camara on the wings. Oh, they're going to call it the other way. Listen to this crowd change. Change of pace here.
Kelly Camara has come out, and she doesn't look like a freshman to me. She has so much confidence.
Holtzclaw with the miss. Not many second chances at all in this first half for Tennessee.
Tennessee having to switch back into the man-to-man defense.
Purdue winning by a wide margin on the glass.
And Douglas, I mean, she was born to score.
Douglas gets one, and it's the biggest lead of the game.
Give credit to Purdue with staying tough on the boards.
Randall finds some space along the baseline, and Samika called for the walk. Under a minute to go in the first half. Camara checked by Randall. White McCarty tries to get away from Kelly Jolly. Good pick and roll.
There's nothing better in the game than the pick and roll or the back door. Good basic fundamental basketball.
Cooper's got 15. The lead is 13.
But this is where Tennessee needs a good shot. They have to score.
Didn't get it, and now Purdue can hold for one shot. Heads up play by the senior White McCarty to come back and help out a little bit.
Look at Camara with her head up, knows where the defense is, just looking all around. He's trying to get it to White McCarty.
Shot clock's off. 6 to go. Camara will try and make something happen. Cooper fighting for the loose ball, and Kelly Jolly comes down with a rebound. What a first half for the Purdue Boilermakers.
And this is going to be gut check time for Purdue. See how good they are in this last 20 minutes, because Tennessee is known for coming out strong. We mentioned that this is a different Tennessee team. Kyra Elsie, who had knee surgery again just last week, she was an integral part of this team, and they really miss her out there.
Well, they sure do. Kyra Elsie was the guard that made Tisha Pettichero have 11 turnovers in the national championship game 2 years ago against Old Dominion.
Tennessee running the floor. Jeter looks to Tamika. Oh, nice by White McCarty. Douglas the other way. Katie Douglas blocked by Holtzclaw. Here comes Tennessee.
The block by Stephanie White is all highlight film. It is unbelievable. Jeter should have taken the layup.
Jeter.
That was a Bill Russell block. You keep it, you block it, you keep it in the air, and you keep it in bounds.
Douglas, Duhart, Figs, White, McCarty, and Cooper to start for Purdue the second half. Here comes Tamika catching. She'll take it all the way.
And this is what's so important about an opponent playing Tennessee. Also, Carolyn Peck going back to Kari Figs, and she shot an air ball when she first came in, a wide open shot.
They kick it back out top to Figs. It's Jolly, Catchings, Randall, Holtzclaw, and Jeter in orange for Tennessee.
The other thing in this half-court game, they're making Tennessee play half-court defense.
Inside, Cooper.
That's a new career high for Camille Cooper, breaking the 16 points she had last year against Notre Dame.
You had mentioned early in the first half that she's a defensive player, but she scored 50 points twice in high school.
See what happens when you get to the next level and they label you? Same on the coaches.
Randall, she's left alone. Misses on the three. Duhart tried to outlet it to Figs, and Tennessee picks it off.
Carolyn Peck has said, look, we got to slow it down. Don't try and run with these guys.
When we're talking execution in the offense, we're talking about better cuts, tighter curls, better passes, the little things that make you good.
Another turnover as Michelle Duhart went down hard, hit her head on the floor. She seems to be okay, gets the ponytail back in.
Well, when you're leading it up like that against Tennessee, you better get it. Doesn't hurt as much.
And the foul will be called on Samika Randall.
I think anytime you're a world championship team or a collegiate championship team, you're going to have expectations and demands that other people don't. And that's just part of it. Book tours, Pat did a book tour here in Indianapolis. There's just more demands, and you have to be better focused for the job at hand.
Catchings now has 8, and Tennessee making a run to start out the second half.
Well, that would be different because Tennessee never had a run in the first half, and that's their bread and butter. Look at the intensity level by Tennessee. I mean, Holtzclaw, Randall always plays with a lot of intensity, but everybody else is as well.
Shot clock down to 7. Douglas on the drive, lays it in.
I really like the fact that this Purdue team just not getting rattled by the defense of Tennessee.
Back at the other end, the whistle will be on Purdue as Randall took it into the paint. Really an emotional game right now as Jeter connects.
One of the few times Tennessee has been able to go inside of the post to get a little turnaround.
But in the history of Tennessee basketball, what do you try to make them do? Shoot from the outside, because they've never had 3 or 4 great outside shooters at one time.
Figs left alone for 3.
She just is off in this game.
Catchings has the rebound, and she will push for Tennessee, trying to get some transition points. Figs got a hand in the passing lane.
You wonder how long Carolyn Peck will keep Kelly Camara on the bench. She had a great first half, the freshman.
Well, I don't know if Kari Figs is not feeling well, but she is not giving the team the energy. You're absolutely right that Kelly Camara gave her team in the first half.
I think Figs wants this game so much she just doesn't have it right now. As a player, you have games like that.
She leaves Randall alone. And a couple of Boilermakers fight for the rebound. It comes out to Catchings. Off the mark, kept alive by Jeter. No good. Tennessee hammering the glass.
Teresa Jeter has got to look at the basket. She has the ability to score, and she is so close.
18 for Holtzclaw, and the deficit now back down into single digits. Look at the Tennessee work on the glass in the second half. 6-1 right now, the advantage. Figs changes direction, gets Randall off her feet. Figs played with Samika Randall and played with Tamika Catchings on the USA Select team this past summer. Randall will take a break. Clement.
Randall's she's starting for the team this year. Last year she came off the bench, and she was such a firepower, just a stick of dynamite is what they called her. And they're not getting that punch off the bench like they did last year because of Kyra Elsie being out.
Nearly sold out, the 3rd largest crowd in Purdue history, 11,788 on hand, and they may be witnessing an upset.
They are the number 6 in attendance in the nation. nation last year with over 7,000. Tennessee and Connecticut were 1 and 2. Tennessee over almost 15,000. Connecticut just under 11,000. And Wisconsin was number 3 with just under 10,500.
Yeah, but how incredible for Purdue to keep Jen Jacoby when she played here from Rossville, and then White McCarty from West Lebanon. Matter of fact, when I drove by it, I bowed on the way in here.
So Clement comes on for Shamika Randall, who sits with 3 fouls, and really it's a bit of an adjustment when you go from being a bench player to getting that starting nod.
Well, what Kyra Elsie did is she wore you down, and then the dynamite, as Annie referred to, would come in and just overwhelm you in Shamika Randall.
This year, Randall gets the starting job. A similar situation for Katie Douglas, who has the ball right now for Purdue, going from the 6th man to the starter this year.
Corey Figgs, who averaged 15 points a game last year, 4 points off on the line.
Figgs and White McCarty thought about the shot. Douglas, good nice feed underneath, and Cooper couldn't hold onto it.
Well, she had the defense going up in the air and trying to get the little shovel pass, and Cooper just missed it. But good patience in the offense and good switch-up defense by Tennessee, trying something different.
As soon as Douglas made the cut, Nancy and Ann's eyes lit up because they both saw Cooper at the same time underneath. Holtzclaw can't finish, and Figgs comes out with it.
That's the mark of a great point guard. Figgs knows when to push it when she doesn't have the numbers to get into your offense.
And Carolyn Peck is on the sideline. They worked on that about slowing it down.
Skip to Figgs, gets Clement off her feet. Around and out, Douglas, offensive rebound.
She had the shot. If she had gone back up, Douglas would have. But Figgs is such a good shooter. You don't tell shooters like that to stop shooting, even though she hasn't hit an outside shot. The 4 points she has are all from the free throw line.
Duhart trying to back in on Jeter, taken by the Lady Vols. Clement looking for Shamika, and Duhart takes it right back.
Duhart and Cooper are probably the unsung heroes in this game. They come up with key plays.
And that's back-to-back turnovers from Ace Clement.
But when you're not getting a lot of points from your heralded backcourt, who are playing very well, I might add, and then your inside decides that they're going to be a factor, that's why Purdue's got the lead.
Camara is on the floor for Purdue, replacing Figgs. Duhart doesn't get it to go. Jeter comes out with it.
Jeter's had some big plays in this second half for the Lady Vols.
Holtzclaw, nice pass inside. Catchings with good position.
Right out of the triangle offense, the first cover, Kelly Jolly goes to the corner. Catchings comes in and fills behind to the open spot.
Purdue looks a little tentative on the offensive end. They've got to get some good shots and kind of bring this crowd back into it, too.
Camara misses the shot. White McCarty with a putback. Her first basket of the second half, and it's a 9-point Purdue lead.
Well, that's a momentum keeper right there when you're able, after Tennessee's been playing much better, to get that offensive board.
And the whistle and the foul will be called on Douglas. Jeter working on the low block. Cooper shuts her down. Catchings wanted it inside, and instead they swing around the perimeter.
You see the sagging defense.
She steps out, misses the jumper. Rebound Cooper. How about the Boilermakers off the bench? 22-3, they have outscored the Tennessee reserves. And Camara has been a spark. They go with 3 guards now, with Figgs and Camara on the floor at the same time, and a turnover gives it back to Tennessee.
Tennessee is also having to do some things right now to manufacture some offense. When they had the two-headed center last year in Jeter and Stevens, they were able to get points differently from their post players. Now it's on Jeter's back to carry the load.
Jeter's got 6. Deficit is 7.
And also Tennessee's having to sit in a zone because they have to protect Randall, Catchings, and also Holtzclaw.
The passing has not been as sharp by Purdue.
3-point attempt is good by Roy McCarty.
Just prove me wrong, would you?
18 now for Stephanie. And the crowd in Mackey starting to come to its feet. Jeter gets the basket and will go to the line.
I wouldn't be surprised at halftime that Pat Summitt challenged Teresa Jeter.
Cooper picks up her third foul and then doesn't box out, but Purdue able to get the ball back as Catchings and Cooper, or Duhart rather, run into one another.
You know what I like about Carolyn Pagliani? She's on the sidelines. You wouldn't know if she was up 20 or down 20. She always has such a nice way about her.
Camara able to draw the foul on Catchings. That is the third personal foul on Catchings. So Catchings, Randall, and Holtzclaw all have 3 apiece.
This is a team that went over to France this summer, and they really kind of pulled together because of the announcement of her leaving after this year. Kind of threw everybody apart. And she said, my focus is this year. Let's everybody do it for now. And that's what really the call has been.
And I think it's great, especially with the 2 seniors in White, McCarty, and Figs. It's about them. And it's about this basketball program that they're very proud of.
Jeter steps out to the top of the key. Jolly, the 3 over Camara. Rebound, Cooper.
Purdue is doing one heck of a job boxing out Tennessee, who is relentless on the boards.
Purdue +5 in the rebounding department thus far. White McCarty double teamed on top. Tries to fight her way through it, and Tamika Catchings has picked up her 4th personal foul with 9:03 to go. This is one of the things that we've been talking about is Figs connects.
Her first basket.
The questions about Tennessee's depth now coming into play with foul trouble on Catchings. Jeter, jumper, no good. Purdue all over the backside again.
Well, this game, let's put it in perspective. This game means everything to the Purdue program. It would elevate them to a status that others have not been able to do, and it would be very rewarding. To Tennessee, a loss here today, it doesn't change their program. It just means that they have a loss and that they have something to work on as the season matures for them.
And Pat Summitt will make them pay in working on it.
I was going to say they may have to run a few more sprints tomorrow. Camara, 3. Tennessee is in big trouble in Mackey Arena.
By the way, those sprints might be after the game.
Holtzclaw foul by Duhart.
But the big stat for me is Tennessee's been to the foul line 8 times. They're 3 of 8, and Purdue's been there 13 of 19 times. Tennessee makes a living 28 times a game at the foul line last season.
Obviously, coming out of that timeout, Pat Summitt has told Shemiko Holtzclaw, get the ball and attack, get some points. That's what you are as a scorer. Don't look to pass.
Camara works on Randall.
Oh, what a nice move there.
Around and out. Holtzclaw, quick outlet to Randall. She's got Duhart to beat, spins around her off glass for 2.
It's the first time in a while that Tennessee has had back-to-back baskets that quickly.
And it might be the first transition basket for Tennessee that I can remember.
Great move by Randall. Now Phillips beats the double team, rejected by Jeter.
Yeah, now you're leaving one of your post players back.
Collision out at the top of the key, and it looks like they're going to be Kelly Jolly.
Duhart setting a pick up high. We were just told before the game by officials that if you try and go through that pick and you continue on, that is going to be a charge.
That's right. We asked that question. You specifically asked that question. And there she is. She
kept going.
Well, she tried to run through, and Marcy Weston, who is the coordinator of all the officials, flat out told us that rule, and Marcy gets points for being right.
Duhart doesn't drop. Jeter clears it. Randall. by White McCarty.
But I haven't seen the aggressive Tennessee team that we've been bragging about, because they have been willing to take the perimeter shot instead of taking someone off the dribble. Remember the Meeks? That's what they did best, take people off the dribble.
Jolly with a sweet take to the hoop.
All right, she's a Meek.
Her first basket of the second half. And a reaching foul on Shamiqua, and she now has 4 as well. Holtzclaw sits down with 4. Catchings comes back on with 4. Fitz gets both. Clement looking in the paint. Jeter gets the roll. Teresa Jeter now with 10, and it's back to a 7-point Purdue lead.
And Jeter continues to do it in the second half for the Lady Vols.
And the player that has the tough matchup assignment right now is who we're watching. Kristen Clement guarding Katie Douglas. Katie Douglas to me is like a Tony Kukoc because she can shoot, take you off the dribble, great passer.
Nancy, did you say great passer?
She knows where to deliver it, and the hometown hero, White McCarty, just launched that from Seeger Memorial.
She's got 21.
In the first exhibition game, Purdue took 19 three-pointers, only hit 4, and then they only took 5 in the second game, in their second exhibition game. So Carolyn Peck told them not to shoot the three-pointers. Well, when you got somebody like White McCarty knocking them down, it helps.
Figs. And Cooper loses it out of bounds. Jolly goes by Figs, pulls up and hits. Kelly Jolly now with 7.
Big-time player. She's hit some key baskets for Tennessee.
Lady Vols not going away, 67-61.
It's a big defensive set for Tennessee right now.
Figs to White McCarty. Off the dribble, spins in the paint. Candy Crawford, put back, no good. Duhart, stripped by Jolly, and she'll be called for the foul. Misses on the second. Here comes Tennessee. Duhart, by the way, with 11 rebounds today. Holtzclaw, good. Lady Vols faithful. Hope is still alive.
But there's plenty of time on the clock, and now you start looking for Holtzclaw in the half court. But for Purdue, you keep the momentum, you keep your poise.
But you've got to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, you must continue to attack, and I like the way Kari Figs is keeping the ball in the middle of the floor until she decides where she's going.
Figs over Jolly. Randall off her foot, out of bounds.
Let me tell you what's going on in these huddles. First of all, huddle management by the coaches is imperative. You got to tell your kids how many timeouts you have. You want to give a foul. Talk about the bonus. Keep it simple about the play you want to run offensively and defensively.
Well, I'm impressed. Purdue, I don't think, has taken a bad shot in the second half.
They have had great poise in breaking the press.
Great spacing, which is how you break down a great defensive team. You don't let them double team you.
White McCarty on the drive. Gets the basket! And 1!
She makes them or gets fouled. And I remember being at Old Dominion 2 years ago in the first round of the NCAA playoffs, and she missed that finger roll right at the end, which would have upset Old Dominion. And I know she wants redemption.
Holtzclaw misses on the 3. Douglas has it.
That's exactly what Purdue wants. Go ahead, Shamiqua, you got the ball. Take the three-point shot.
A 46-game win streak on the line for Tennessee. The #1 ranking in the country.
You got 4 ball handlers, 3 ball handlers on the floor for Purdue. You need clock management. You want to milk the clock. 5 seconds left before they turned it over on the shot clock.
Here comes Tennessee on the run. Holtzclaw taking charge. Doesn't get it to go. Here comes Purdue out with a rebound.
They forced her to pull up for the jumper. Good defensive positioning, good footwork, not reaching for the basketball.
Another smart play by Yukari Figs. Why mess around with Randall in the backcourt? Just give it to Katie Douglas. She can handle the ball.
And uses her right hand as well as her left hand.
Look at Douglas spinning around Holtzclaw. Bad pass. Randall has it knocked away by Figs. White McCarty trying to call a timeout, and she doesn't get it in time. They'll jump it up.
There are teams around the country. They are loaded, the Tennessee schedule. Everybody's going to think we have a chance to beat the Lady Vols.
Randall takes it strong to the hoop.
There's still time left, though. This game is not over.
Figs, who is an outstanding free throw shooter, will probably be handling the ball quite a bit down the stretch. So is Stephanie White McCarty. Purdue 16 of 25 from the line today. Tennessee just 3 of 8. Douglas got a piece of that one and knocked it out of bounds. Tennessee ball.
If Tennessee gets a foul or a shot,
Holtzclaw no good on the three. Cooper with a big rebound.
so no foul for Tennessee now. They've got to make Purdue take a quick shot, or at least force them into getting a quick shot off.
Great job by Figs to keep the dribble alive. The shot clock.
Yukari Figs putting on a ball handling exhibition now.
5 on the clock. Douglas will have to force one up and draws the foul on Tennessee.
Well, it was a smart play by Katie Douglas, making Cooper step out and give her that high pick and roll so she could actually either slip the pick or take the shot.
They only gave it 2 points.
Both sides know there's a lot of basketball left to be played. If not today, certainly the rest of the year.
And also, in the conferences, they're tough to beat. Everybody gets up. The Big Ten is going to be tough. The SEC is going to be tough, and so forth.
Jolly with a big three for Tennessee, and that's what Carolyn Peck did not want to see happen. Jolly was freed up for the triple. Purdue now beating the pressure.
Smart play by Douglas right there. She just wants to keep the dribble alive.
She is 5 of 6 today.
She has really handled the pressure at that point position for Carolyn Peck's Purdue team. Her first start as a Boilermaker.
Well, except for the Alabama game a year ago in the SEC tournament where Tennessee scored 67 points, this will be the lowest point total since almost a year ago.
Jolly, another three. Rebound, Cooper.
Well, Carolyn Peck said, look, we want to keep a low-scoring game. And obviously, a team like Tennessee that averaged almost 90 points a game last year, now they're sitting at 68.
We talked about Camille Cooper's contribution in the first half with 15 points. She's had 3 in the second half, but it's been a full team effort by the Boilermakers.
Jeter will try for 3. Cooper takes it away from Holtzclaw.
And Cooper has been so strong on the boards this whole game for Purdue.
As Purdue is poised to take down top-ranked Tennessee. Purdue basketball with 6.5 to go. Some people wondered if it could be done. Purdue has proven it. And Tennessee's 46-game win streak is over. Carolyn Peck and 5th-ranked Purdue upsets #1 Tennessee. 78-68, the final score at the State Farm Tip-Off Classic, and a classic it was. You told us earlier you learned an awful lot about from Pat Summitt while you were an assistant. What did she tell you about winning big games like this?
Well, I'm just, you know, I can't say where this came from. It wasn't me. We had a game plan. The team came out and they executed. They stayed with it. They believed in it and they played hard. I got great leadership from Yukari Figs and Stephanie White. contributions from my whole team. Tiffany Young comes off the bench and plays 30 seconds maybe. Candy Crawford does the same thing to rest. Camille Cooper was big for us. Kelly Kamara was a spark for us. I mean, it's them. They came out and they played hard. They knew what we wanted to do. We had started working on it on Monday and just continued through, and they stayed with it.
Stephanie White-McCarty, perhaps the biggest win of your career. What did you guys talk about at halftime when you had the big lead and you knew you had to finish out those last 20 minutes?
Well, we knew that they were going to come out and they were going to pressure. They were going to be ready to play, and we just wanted to come out and not let them get on a run and keep boxing out and try to make them score from the outside. We just came out and played hard the whole game.